Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into Tuesday Job Talk. Give me just one moment here to get us live on all of our platforms and make sure we're going live. In the meantime, hello. Welcome in. Let me know where you're joining us from, who you are, what you're looking for today, and we will get going. Oh, there we go. We are good on Instagram. Are we up on LinkedIn? I don't see anybody's comments yet, so we'll see. Just checking. It always takes a minute. You guys, if you've been here before, you know it always just takes just a second for all of the platforms where we stream to go. It looks like we are live and everywhere we want to be live. So awesome. Like I said, welcome into Tuesday Job Talk. I'm Katie Castillo, the community expert at VertForce. And so today, first and foremost, we are going to talk about jobs, open jobs, where to find them. And we are also here to answer your questions. So if there is something you want to know, if you need help with something, this is a great opportunity to get your questions answered live with the VertForce team. Today, you have me. Hey, I'm seeing our Facebook ones roll in. I don't know why it never shows me on my desktop browser for the lives, but I see we've got people from San Antonio, Fort Campbell, Augusta, Fort Stewart. Hi. Oh, and Illinois. Hello. I am in Northern Washington, where it's actually pretty cold today, so I'm kind of loving that. And we will get going, everybody. So, like I said, we are here today to talk about open jobs. We're going to talk about some upcoming events, and we're going to dive into, at the end, interview tips, some things I have for you. And if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know what you're looking for. If you have questions about specific things, happy to answer them, okay? Sabina on LinkedIn is looking for a career shift and connecting with anyone who can provide guidance. Hi, Sabina. Welcome in. If you are looking for career shifts, you can always let me know what you're looking for. We can see what we can help you with. If you're not part of our Facebook community on Facebook, our private Facebook group, I highly recommend joining that. It's a great place to connect with people looking for similar roles as you, or people who are in the same kind of field. That's always a great place to do that. We haven't done a LinkedIn train on there in a long time, but that would be a great idea. We've done it before and we get like hundreds of people. You can also go to our CEO and founder, Kimber Hill. If you go to her LinkedIn profile, there is a post on there to connect with other military spouses, veterans looking to build their networks and things like that. That's a great place to do that. So I highly recommend following her, Sabina. And we got some people from Virginia and Florida. Hello. And let's get into it. So first, let me get our job arsenal up. So I'm going to put a QR code up here for you guys. And where'd it go? There it is. And put the caption down here in case you're watching from your phone and you can't scan the QR code. This is our job arsenal, jobs.vertforce.us. For those of you who are new here, it is a private job board. So you do have to make an account with us. It is free, always free. We're not going to spam you with stuff. But you do have to make a profile in order to see all of the job listings. Otherwise, you'll only see a couple highlights. So make sure you sign in. Make sure you update your profile with your information, what you're looking for. And you'll be able to see all of the vetted, legitimate, military-friendly roles on there. You'll also see on the far, once you log in and you click jobs, you'll be able to see all of the positions open on the right-hand side of all of the jobs. There's little bubbles that have red writing on them to let you know some highlights about the jobs. You can sort the jobs if you're looking for full-time, part-time, other work. If you're open to remote work or hybrid work or on-site, you can also filter by that. If you're kind of open to everything and just kind of looking, I highly recommend not filtering so you can see everything that's available. But on the right-hand side of all of those jobs, you'll see some highlights, whether it's part-time, full-time, remote, what the pay is, some of the benefits, things like that, whether equipment is provided. So you'll be able to see those. Let me open the chat. We've got a couple people asking questions. So highly recommend, if you haven't joined that, make sure you do. And so we've got an operations specialist in HR. So I know that we have a couple people recently who have asked about HR positions. This role is still up on our job board. It was initially sent out in the email as a hybrid role in Pennsylvania because it is a Pennsylvania-based company. However, they have opened this position up to be fully remote. So in case you missed the memo last week, this HR position is now fully remote for anybody who has HR experience. I believe they're looking for 3 years or more. It is part-time right now. No weekends. And it is one of those companies that I always say is like the right kind of company to look for. Are you looking for a company who's open to growth and wants you to grow into the role? So that's what one of these is. It starts at a part-time to make sure that you're the right person for the fit and they're the right company for you. And you have the opportunity to grow from part-time to full-time if that's something that you're interested in doing. So that is up. I'm going to plug this now. I usually say this before, but I forgot. Make sure, please, that you always tailor your resume and your cover letter to the company and the job on the job board and the job description. Make sure you're doing it every single time you apply. It will set you far and apart from other candidates. Okay. So make sure you do that. We've got a few roles with Imagine 360 up there, specific roles. Some of those are not nursing roles. Some of them are nursing clinical roles, but that's one of the cool things about Imagine 360 as well as CVS Health. But Imagine 360 is a remote first healthcare company. So yes, obviously there's going to be some healthcare roles, clinical roles, things like that, but they do have other non-clinical roles. Same with CVS Health. They do have remote roles and they do have remote nursing roles and clinical roles, but they also have roles in customer care, pharmacy, other things like that. You'll find links to both of those on our job board. We have multi-listings for those. So when you get to the job board, we have a few, sometimes we'll have a few from like Imagine 360, CVS, or Travelers that are like specific roles. Like we have the hematology oncology case manager RN role there for Imagine 360, or the consumer reimbursement account specialist with Imagine 360. We have a specialty pharmacy technician role. It is an on-site role in Hawaii with CVS. So if anybody is in Honolulu and is a pharmacy tech, this is for you. Please go apply. CVS Health's a great company to work for. But you'll also see, once you scroll down a little bit, you'll see multi-listing, kind of was what we call them, links with those companies. So CVS Health is broken down into like field of business. So like clinical careers, we have customer care jobs, innovation and technology roles, pharmacy, corporate, warehouse, and in-store jobs. And then Imagine 360, we have the multi-position listing. So if there's not a specific one, just go hit those multi-listing links and head in, and it'll take you over to the job board at CVS and Imagine 360, and Travelers is one of those. It'll take you over there and you can filter and sort by what you're looking for and what fits your area of expertise. And Arthur from YouTube, no, you do not have to be a military spouse. You do not have to be a veteran. While that is who we cater to, is military spouses, veterans, transitioning active duty service members. We are an equal opportunity employer, so you can absolutely go join the job board and apply to roles that fit your background. Our private Facebook group, which I know several of you are joining from, hello, that one is private for military spouses, veterans, active duty, retirees, things like that. So those are a few of the roles up there right now. A couple things to mention. Make sure when you do apply, if you do go to those multi-listing positions and you go over to the CVS Health or the Imagine 360 or Travelers website, make sure that you are indicating on the application that you are a VertForce member. Imagine 360, if you go into source and then job board, it has a section for VertForce. CVS Health as well. If you apply to Travelers through the multi-listing, by clicking that link through our job board that takes you over there, it will automatically mark you as a VertForce member. But just so you guys know, they are partners of ours, so you always want to make sure you let them know where you're coming from, because it does help. Also, we have advocacy forms for CVS Health and Travelers. Those are both in their job listings, so make sure you check those out if you need it. Travelers, we ask that you don't fill out the advocacy form until it's been at least 3 weeks since you applied, just because it can take a little time to get through the applications. So I know we have couple of new people joining in. So just to recap real fast here, this is our job arsenal, our job board. It is vetted, legitimate roles with military-friendly employers. You do have to sign in and make an account. It is free, but you do have to sign in because it's a private job board. So you can scan here, or you can go to jobs.vertforce.us. If you just joined us and you didn't hear at the beginning, feel free to ask any questions that you have. I'm here to answer them for you, or at least help you find the resources to get you the information you need. So if you have questions, feel free to let me know. And we actually do have a question right now. Brandy from LinkedIn says, I never know how to or what to say on a cover letter. Brandy, you are not the only one. Not at all. So that's actually something I covered in a Tuesday talk not too long ago. Let me see if I can find it really fast for you. But we talked about the big thing, my big takeaway for a cover letter is that like the resume gets you in the door and the cover letter lets them know why you belong there, why you are the fit for this role. So you can Google like a few things about, like what's the standard format? What do I say? But basically you're going to give a little bit of background and expand upon anything that you think really highlights your fit for that role. So you don't want to reiterate exactly what's on your resume, right? They've already seen your resume. That's why they're now looking at your cover letter, right? So you don't want to regurgitate word for word what's on your resume, but you can highlight a role or something about a role that really makes you a good fit for the position you're applying for. It's also a chance to explain anything you want to explain. So whether that's a career gap, whether that's a career pivot, you can explain that sort of thing on there. You can also explain why you're interested in this role, why you're interested in this company, why they're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for them. That's the big part of it, right? This is the standout part of saying like, you got in the door already. This is telling them and letting them know, like, this is why I belong here. This is why I belong here. And this is why you want me to be here. So let's see if I can find it. Was it this one? Let me find it. Hold on a second. Cover letters. Here we go. Okay. If you go to our YouTube, Brandy, I will share the specific link afterwards. I don't think LinkedIn is going to let me comment right now. I can try. We have a specific link to a Tuesday talk I did a few weeks ago. That says like, oh, here we go. Okay. I'm going to reply to you right now. Brandy, so you have the actual link. This Tuesday talk, I talk specifically about, what to do in a cover letter, what not to do in a cover letter, and things like that. So, we have a whole video on that. You are not alone. Cover letters can always feel a little bit tricky, right? So you're not alone in that. Okay, hold on. We got somebody on Facebook saying, Victoria, the email for the HR position of PA is not complete to be able to send our information to them per instructions. Any insight on this? Victoria, go ahead and email hire@vertforce.us. And if you're having issues with the email, send your information, what's happening, the whole situation, like explain it, hire@vertforce.us. And our recruitment team will get back to you. I will make sure that they know the email is coming so that they can help you with that. Okay. And thank you for letting us know. It might just be a weird glitch in our system. So I'll make sure we check that out and see if we can't help you with that. Okay. Let's see, where else are we going here? All right. So I talked about the job board. One thing to mention that I have not mentioned, this job board updates frequently. The jobs will come on and go off quickly. So if you're looking for something specific and we don't have it right now, just be patient. It will be there. It just might take a little while. So just keep an eye on it. Things, like I said, update, rotate frequently. We do post about them every single time we get a new role. They get posted in our VertForce Facebook group. Here, I'll put a little link up in case you're not part of it. It is, this private VertForce Facebook group is for military only, military spouses, past and present, and veterans, retirees, active duty service members, etc. Just make sure you answer all the questions on the membership questions. Otherwise, we can't let you in. But that is a great resource and a great place to find information. Like I said, we share every single time we get a new job. We do post about it in there. And if you are signed up for the job board, you will also get an email notification. I talked about this last week, and this is why it is so important to make sure you update your profile and your settings on the job arsenal once you have an account. Let us know what certifications you have. Let us know what you're looking for. It'll help us target what we're sending you a little bit better. So make sure you do that. Like I said, here's the VertForce Facebook group. If you're not a part of it and you are military affiliated, go join. It's a great place to crowdsource information. If you're looking for leads and you can't find something, or you need more help on something like cover letters or resume help, things like that, you can always post about it there. If you're looking for information, whether something is a scam, whether this company might be a good option, highly recommend checking out there. You can also search in that group for information. We have thousands of posts. We have 90,000 members. So there's lots of information there. So you can search in the group for if you're looking want more information on travelers, search in the group for travelers. We have so many posts about them. You'll be able to find lots of information, and you can also post about it there too. And somebody had said they were looking to network. You can also do that there by finding people. You've given me the idea that we need to do another LinkedIn train soon, so we'll see if we can't get that post going. Erica, cover letter talk. Yes, Erica, I can do that. Give me just one second. I'll post you the link for cover letters. If you guys ever miss a Tuesday talk and you want to find more information about them, if you go to our YouTube, I'll share that link while I'm talking about it. If you go to our YouTube, some of you are watching from YouTube, so hello. But if you go to our YouTube and you, on the Kimber Hill page, if you click at the top, there's like little tabs, home, videos, shorts, live, podcasts, and plays. If you click live, all of our Tuesday talks are saved in there. Our lovely Felicia usually tries to go in and edit my titles so that it talks about what we're actually talking about that day. So let's see. Elise on Facebook wants to know, is there a way to track application status for a job no longer on the job board? And I'm assuming you're talking about the VertForce job board, Elise. And the answer to that is no, there's not a way to track it, but we do contact all applicants at the end of the process. So if we are in the process of vetting applications and resumes and things like that, you won't really hear from us once we get those. We just get so many, and we are such a tiny team that we don't have the ability to reach out right at the beginning. But as we start interviewing, and once the position is filled and we have closed that, officially closed, and we have a person ready for the job, we will reach out to all candidates who applied to let them know that the position has been filled. So, just wait to hear from us. I know that's hard. I'm sorry, but we are just a tiny team. So we do the best we can. But we do let you know at the end of the process whether or not the position has been filled. So, and we just for your situational awareness, we don't let people know until the very end once we have filled the position, because sometimes things come up, right? Where we find a person that we think is going to be a good fit. We interview them, we get them ready to go. We're starting the onboarding process and something falls through and they decide they don't want the job, or they can't take it because of reason XYZ. So we usually don't reach out to say, hey, it's closed, until the person has started and has their letter and all the things. So we reach out if we're going to interview you, if we're interested in that. And then at the end of the process, we will also reach out and let you know if you are not continuing on, if that makes sense. But we don't really have a process or a way at the moment to track on the job board, since we're, like I said, a tiny little company compared to, comparatively speaking to CVS Health or something, where you can check your application status through their job portals. Maybe someday, but not yet. If that doesn't answer your question, let me know. And I will be happy to answer that. So I did want to mention, I am going to put the job board link back. Oh, wait, no. Yes, I'm going to put the job board link back up. So coming up soon, we have in the next 2 weeks, we will have some event announcements. We have an event coming up with Imagine 360. It should be mid-September. And I will have final dates and all of that within the next couple of weeks for you guys. So you can RSVP if you're interested in learning more about Imagine 360, if you're interested in information about them, what it's like working there, talk to some people who do work there, and also get FaceTime with the recruitment team. This is a great opportunity for that. These employer events are incredible. They're also really fun. And we will have one with Imagine 360 mid-September. Like I said, I will have a link for you hopefully by next week. And the reason I linked the job board is once you sign into the job board, at the very, very tippy top there, you'll see a few little, like the little header bar. Sorry, can't think of the word. It says dashboard, jobs, learning, and events. If you click events, it will take you to our calendar of events and upcoming things that are happening. So you'll see all the Tuesday Job Talk little boxes there, but we will have more soon. We are going to have a home buying 101 event with the military MLS coming up soon. Again, in the next 2 weeks or so, we should have finalized dates on that and what we're doing once we get all that hammered out. But we will have a home buying 101 event coming up soon. And once you're signed up there, you will get emails for that, as well as the Imagine 360 event. Like I said, highly recommend those. They're so great. It's a great chance to meet the employers, or you get free education. And at pretty much all of our Coffee and Connects on Zoom, we do Starbucks gift card giveaways and sometimes at the MLS events, the military MLS events, we also give away Stanley tumblers. So stay tuned. I'll have those dates and links for you guys to RSVP and by next week. And I'm guessing maybe sooner. So, but just keep an eye out. Like I said, the events page on the Job Arsenal is a great place for that. Brandy would like to know, are the jobs on the job board competing with other job boards like on Indeed, Google, ZipRecruiter, etc.? No. So pretty much exclusively the jobs that are on our job board are only on our job board. Obviously, some of the other ones, like with bigger companies, CVS Health, Travelers, Imagine 360, some of those positions can be found on their, most of them can be found on their job boards, on those big company job boards, and they are there as well as on our own. So technically, yes, you would be competing, but there are smaller companies like the HR position, I believe, are only on our job board. It sort of depends on the job, but for the most part, smaller companies, they're only on our job board and nowhere else. But that's why also on the CVS, Imagine 360, Intuit, Travelers, it's important to mark yourself as a VirtForce candidate and let us know that you applied. Let's see. I'm going to double check and make sure I've got all comments going on, all questions happening. Sorry. Also, I keep looking. My phone is down here because I can get the Facebook comments because for some reason my Facebook desktop, when I'm doing a live stream, is so slow on letting me know that people have commented. So if I'm being slow on responding to your question, that might be why. So yes, upcoming events, kind of covered that. I know it's kind of a teaser. Sorry, it's not on purpose. We're just hammering out some final details on some of those and making sure we have date confirmations, but we should have RSVP links for all of those coming up soon. Like I said, Imagine 360 will be hopefully mid-September. We should have one coming up with Travelers in October. Looking forward to both of those. They're great, great options. And now I'm going to talk to you guys about interviews. So this is today's special topic. I really wanted to talk about, we've had it come up a few times about interviewing and questions about interviewing, tips for interviewing. So I could talk about this for a long time, much like job scams. I could talk for hours and hours and hours. I'm not going to do that to you today. But there are a few resources and a few tips that I really want to share because these things get missed all the time. So I wanted to talk about some do's and some don'ts and a few little tips. And I'm going to take you guys on a little field trip today. So that'll be new and different for our normal Tuesday talks. But so I want to say first, we have a resource for you. If you are getting ready to interview, it's less than, I think, like 30 minutes. And it is excellent. I used it every time I interviewed, including for the job I got with VirtForce. But Ace Your Virtual Interview, I had to shorten the title because it won't let me put the whole thing up there. But Ace Your Virtual Interview, you can scan this. You can also find it on the job boards. If you go to jobs.virtforce.us and you click Learning, you'll see Ace Your Virtual Interview there. It is a series of short videos about things to do, things not to do, and how to set yourself up for success. So it's not very long, but it is a great resource, like packed with super helpful tips. So check that out. It's also helpful even if you're not doing a virtual interview. If you're doing an in-person interview, obviously you're not going to have to worry too much about the tech stuff because you don't need to set up Zoom, right? But it's still helpful with helpful tips. So a few things I wanted to mention about don'ts. Okay, so don't say you want the job only for money, right? That feels like a given, but I just want to put that out there. Don't just say, oh yeah, I'm interested because I would really like to have a job. I'm looking for a remote job and this seems like a great one and you interviewed me, so yay. Try not to say that, right? Don't say that you want this remote job because you want to work at home with your kids. And I want to put those both out there because yes, we all want money for a job, right? That's how that works. There is an exchange here. But by saying, I want this job because it's remote, I want this job so I can work at home with my kids, I want this job because you're going to pay me money, really is just a one-sided way of the exchange. At this point, you're supposed to be telling them why they should hire you, what you're bringing to the table, right? So you want to show them what you're bringing, not only what they're giving to you. Feels like a given, but I want to make sure. We've had a couple people say that in the last year, I want this job because I want to work at home with my kids. That's really only telling them what they're going to give you. You want to tell them why you want to, what you're bringing, right? Why you want to actually work there and not just for the simple exchange of things. And so I want to put that out there because I think that's important. A few things I want to say, if you are doing a virtual interview, always make sure that you set up the platform before, like well before your interview. So if you're interviewing on Zoom, log into your Zoom account, make sure your Zoom's all ready to go, like get it all set up like the day before and then check it again like 30 minutes before. There's nothing worse than getting ready for your interview and you're kind of nervous and anxious already. And then Zoom has an update and you're just waiting as it loads and loads and loads. And the clock is ticking down to your interview time. So make sure you set it up ahead of time so that you're ready to go. Test all of your tech stuff. We go over this in Ace Your Virtual Interview too. But like make sure you're ready well ahead of your interview so you're not scrambling at the last minute, because that's just going to make you feel really, really, really anxious. I want to say that your location matters and what you're wearing matters. What you look like matters. What you present yourself as. I'm saying this in a way of like, no, we don't have to be perfectly polished. I don't have to spend $500 on a suit or something. But there is a difference of showing up in a t-shirt versus showing up with a sweater on or a blazer on. And there's a difference between showing up with whatever done hair versus, let's say like my hair hanging all up in my face and I'm talking to you like this, right? The reason I say that is that you want your stuff to be not distracting, right? You want the focus to be on you. You don't want to leave your interview and have your interviewer go, wow, it was really loud where she was talking and I couldn't hear anything but dogs barking. Or, wow, she didn't really even try to get ready for this interview or try to show up professionally at all. She showed me that she wasn't professional. You don't want to be that person, right? You don't want them to leave that interview in any way except thinking, wow, she has great HR experience. That's really cool that she did XYZ at this firm, right? You want the focus to be on you and not any other stuff. So I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now. And show you some things that I don't want you to do. So I'm going to turn my camera off because I don't want to make anybody sick by walking around my house. So I'm going to take you on a little field trip. So I'm going to turn off my backdrop. And so now you can see where I'm sitting and what that looks like. Okay. And now we're going to walk real fast. This is the best way I can do it because I don't know about you, but I am a visual learner. So I want to show you the difference between how I was sitting and sitting here. If I show up to an interview here, well, it's fine. There is a lot going on behind me, including like a really messy box right here. Like the focus is not on me anymore, right? The focus is going to be very distracting on this background, right? Like you're going to be looking at, hey, what's that? Hey, look, what are those things? Look, there's a plant that looks like it's coming out of our head. Wow, that supply box is really messy. So that's what you're going to be looking at and not focused on what I'm saying. So hold on, we're going somewhere else. I'm going to put my camera off so I can show you guys because, again, I don't want to make you sick by walking around my house. And now this one gets me, and you would be amazed how many people do this. And I want to put this out there because it happens a lot, but people will interview here. Now, while I love my bed, and it is a very comfortable place, I'm obviously sitting in a bed, right? Obviously sitting in a bed. And while it's comfortable, it is not a professional setting in which to interview, right? And I can tell you right now that every time you do sit in your bed to interview, the interviewer does know 100%, and they can tell. And that's going to be distracting for them, but it's also not a professional place to work, really, right? Like if you just want to put your best foot forward, and a bed is not your best foot forward, right? So I'm going to turn it off and take you somewhere else. So now I get it. If you don't have a desk or you don't have a great place in which to interview or something like that, that happens, right? Totally happens. Options. You can set yourself up in front of a door. That works just fine. Okay. A door will work just fine in a pinch if you have to, right? It's non-distracting. It's pretty plain. I mean, it's obviously a door, but you know what? It's not that bad compared to super messy bookshelf. That is great. And I do want to point out, a bookshelf is not a bad place to interview in front of at all. Like at all, right? Kimber has a bookshelf in front of her, and it works great because hers is very nicely organized and it's very non-distracting. So in a pinch, if I can't use my virtual background that I like to use, this wall works fine. It's not perfect, but it is a plain wall. It's not distracting. And so that is what I would recommend. So I wanted to show you guys because it really does make such a difference to, sorry I'm trying to put my regular background back on and there we go. But it matters, right? So obviously, if I can have a virtual background, this works great for me. It is not distracting. It tells you where I'm from, and that's fantastic. But it definitely matters if you're sitting on your bed. We can tell that you're in your bed. And it's just, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to show them in your interview that you can do the job you're saying you can do. And most places, they're not going to want to know that you're working from your bed, right? That just feels a little weird. So you wouldn't want to do that. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to show them that you can do the job that you're saying, that you can do. And so I took you on a little field trip. I wanted you guys to see a few of the options. And we understand, right? There is no doubt in my mind. We understand that you might not have an office space right now, and that's okay. There are lots of options in which to set yourself up for an interview that is not in an office, a dedicated office space. And we get it. Not everybody's going to have, I don't know, picturesque backgrounds. That's fine. That's totally okay. There are lots of places where you can interview or set yourself up that's not distracting or looks like a bed or looks like a towel rack. But we've had people interview from inside closets, and it's fine because they're on a plain wall and the door shuts. So that part is really great, right? And so that is, just remember, your location matters. How you set yourself up really matters. Kadisha, is that how I say your name? On Facebook, I do see your question. I will get to it, I promise. So your location matters. The way you set yourself up for success matters. Kimber talks about this on Ace Your Virtual Interview. Highly recommend checking that out. But I really just want to put that out there because you'd be surprised the number of people who will sit in a bed to interview. And it's just not the best way to put your best foot forward or show your best professional self, which is what you're trying to do in an interview. So I do have a few tips for you apart from my location things there and checking your Zoom before you get started and all that sort of thing. And one of my favorite things to do is, like, obviously do some research on the company before you interview. If you have an interviewer name, even better, look them up. Just get a little feel for who they might be, who the company is, what matters to the company, because obviously that will also help you see whether or not this company is going to be a good fit for you. But do a little research on them first. Doesn't need to be long, like 15, 30 minutes. And while you're doing that research, come prepared with some questions. And I will say, please don't just Google what questions to ask a company, because you're going to get some very, very generic ones. And when you ask some of these very generic ones, they don't really work, right? Like, I was in one time and somebody asked, like, well, what are the main reasons somebody would leave this role? And it was really awkward because the recruiter's like, I can't give you that answer. There are like 1,000 reasons people could leave this role. They could leave the role because they moved. They could leave the role because it wasn't a good fit for them, because they realized they didn't want customer service. So think about actual questions. And I'm not saying you can't ask why somebody didn't left the role, because that's not a bad question if you're asking why they're filling this role. But just think about some good interview questions that you can ask the interviewer. Is there anything else about my background that you would like to know more about? Walk me through an average day of what I would be doing in this role. Ask them about growth, about performance reviews. So those are all helpful things anyways. It's not just showing the interview that you're prepared and interested in this company and wanting to know more. It's actually giving you very helpful information that would help you in the long run decide whether or not this role would be a good fit for you, right? So do your research and come up with some well-prepared questions. And if you're afraid you're not going to remember your questions, write them down. So this is one of the benefits that I love about a virtual interview. And it is Post-it notes. I don't even think I have any in here. I have a new package. But take your Post-it notes and you can write your questions on them. I use them for all sorts of things. So the last time I interviewed, I guess for VirtForce, I looked up some common behavioral interview questions. Tell me about a time when and how did you respond to it kind of questions. That's what a behavioral one is. You can Google those, right? Just to get a feel of what you might be asked in relation to the job that you're applying for and interviewing for. And I wrote notes on my Post-it notes about like times when I remember this like difficult customer, I would write quick little 3 or 4 word notes to remind myself of certain instances when I showed good leadership, time management, whatever it was that I thought was going to be valuable to the position or a question that might be asked for this position. And I put them around my laptop screen. So questions that I knew I wanted to ask them, I put it around my laptop screen. If I wanted to make sure I mentioned this particular type of role or this type of experience that I had, I put a little note, put it on next to my computer screen, because I could read them without like looking down or flipping. And it was like way easier for me to not have to search for it because I just had Post-it notes. It's a great way to keep notes for yourself and remind you of things that you want to say or things that might help you remember in your interview. So you're not like nervous, panicking, trying to remember a time when, because you've already thought about it and you've given yourself a few examples. The Post-it note trick, I love it, especially if there's something you really want to talk about. Like, hey, I had this one key experience. I did this job, and that is going to make me such a great fit for this. And those key points, those, like key points, questions, and like examples that you want to use, notes are great for that. So you do whatever works for you. If it works better to have it in a notebook or something, do that. But write yourself notes. It's very helpful, especially if you're in a virtual interview, because you can take notes down as they're talking, and then you don't have to worry about trying to remember versus an in-person one where you do. Not that either one is bad, but just it's a nice thing for a virtual one in that way that you can take notes. And this one I want to share is great for in-person and virtual. And our talent director, Felicia, loves to give this advice. And I just think it is the best advice. So it is going to be my last little tip for interviews. So if you have questions about interviews or anything else, feel free to drop them in here, because we're going to wrap up probably pretty soon once I get through the questions. But my favorite tip ever for interviews, whether in person or virtual, is to shake it out in the like couple minutes before your interview. Obviously, you want to try to be there early, but like 5 minutes before, turn on your favorite pump up, I could run through a brick wall kind of song, right? The kind of song that just gives you all the good feels, makes you feel great and confident and powerful. Put that song on and just have a little dance session. Just like shake it out, move your body, because it's going to literally shake out some of that anxiety and those nerves that you're going to feel. And the movement's going to make you flush with endorphins, which is then going to make you feel more confident and appear more confident on screen. And that translates into like enthusiasm, and it just helps you. It'll help you relax. It'll make you feel better, and it'll help you appear very confident to the interviewer. So highly recommend just shake it out. Obviously, like try not to get like sweaty and like dance it out to the point where you're like working out, but shaking it out, there is something to be said. It really makes such a difference in just feeling better. I do it all the time, even when we have like live events and I'm feeling nervous about them. If I know I have to be on camera, I will just turn on some music, dance it out for a second, and then sit down and I'm ready to go. And I feel so much better. And it also kind of gets you in a better headspace because you just kind of like let it all go for a minute. So those are my interview tips. We have a lot. I could talk about it for a long time. So if you have specific questions about interviewing or need more help, highly recommend checking out Ace Your Virtual Interview up there. You can scan the QR code, or if you go to jobs.virtforce.us and click the Learning tab at the top, it will take you straight there. And that's a great place to learn more and get prepared for your interviews. And we have a question that I did not get to earlier that I want to make sure I answer from Kadisha. She wants to know, will we know if we referred for the next phase of the TRICARE CSR position this week? And the answer to that is, if you are moving forward, you will be let know. You will be notified from our team if you're moving forward. Like I said, we will let you know at the very end as well if you have not been selected for the position. But if you are moving forward, you will be notified, and our team will be in contact with you. I do not have specific dates on those positions at the moment about when we're wrapping up interviews and when we will be letting you know about those. So just stay patient. Our team will be in contact. It might just take a little bit of time depending on the role, how many applicants, and things like that. So just stay patient, and we will get back to you on that, I promise. Like I said, we do let every candidate know if they have not been selected for the role. And so we will make sure you are notified. Okay. And I think that is about it for today. So if you have any questions, I'll be on for a quick second to answer any questions that you might have. And we do Tuesday Talks every week, noon, on our Facebook group, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We usually try to let you know what we're going to talk about. But if there's any questions that you have or topics you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Let us know. We're happy to help you. That's the whole point of this. So we will see you next week. Get excited. We've got some exciting events coming up. And quick plug for those of you in our Facebook group, we just shared some information looking for some crowdsourcing help and advice. If you would go find Kimber's most recent post and answer the poll, we would appreciate it. We've got some exciting things coming our way. So you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. And it looks like my computer's frozen, so we're going to see what we can do.